Okay. All right, everyone. We're back with another podcast episode of Love, Marriage, and Fantasy. I am your co-host, Anton Leonard Claiborne. I am your certified marriage facilitator. I am your relationship intimacy advisor. And I'm your global relationship strategist. To my right is my co-host, and your name
And who
is?
am I? I am Coach Star Claiborne. I am your love and life coach. I am your pure romance consultant, along with my sister here on the screen. We'll let her introduce herself in just a moment. I am also a co-founder of the Claiborne International Coaching Group with this guy right here. And I am the founding coach for the Six Figure Women's Coaching Magazine, which will launch in March of 2021. So super excited. And I want to say thank you to Tonjua Jackson, who we have here with us today, who is going to talk to us a little bit about the dating scene after 50. So Tonjua, before we get started, just give us a brief introduction of you. Just tell us a couple interesting facts about you and who you are.
Okay, I am, I'm Tonjua Jackson. I too am a pure romance consultant, as well as I have some other business ventures that I'm involved in. I'm on the board of directors for Rare Pearls, which is a girls mentoring program out of Douglasville. And a fun fact is, I always tell everybody it's a fun fact, my son is in NFL. And that has honored me an opportunity to experience some things that I never thought I would in this lifetime. So it's been wonderful to have that. And that's been a good and a bad thing as it relates to dating. I realize I cannot tell men folk about my son.
Wow.
I can imagine that. Because let me guess, they want to know, can you get the tickets?
That too. And then and just recently, I just had an experience, and I believe it had a lot to do with my being in Arizona for a month. I was blessed to be able to spend a month in Arizona with my grandbaby and my son and his baby mama. So that was a good time. And while I was there, I was conversing with a gentleman who was, we talked the entire month. And when I got back, I don't know what happened. I really don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what. I really can't even speak to that. I thought we had great chemistry because we had video chatted a couple of times. We talked, we text. I thought we had great connection, but apparently not. So I don't know.
So you think that contributed to the fact of your son being?
I know I've been hearing this phrase of men trying to get on the come up, if you will, thinking that a woman is in a certain position, a financial position, and she have these certain resources available to her. So, hey, let me get in on some of that.
Right.
So let me see if I can get in on some of that. No. I didn't share that with you for that reason. I was just giving you a little overview and insight as to what goes on in my life. And two, while I had the opportunity, I'm blessed in a certain way. So I'm just sharing that. It's not to boast or anything of that nature because that's not my personality. I feel God has blessed me to be able to do certain things. And my son has gotten to the level where God put him there. It has nothing to do with me. So I've learned as time has gone on now that I simply just can't share that information with men. I'll just let them know, yes, I have a son and he's doing his thing and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow, that's unfortunate that you can't share that part of your life with them, early on in the dating period.
Right, to get that
genuine taking advantage of it.
Yeah,
get that genuine response. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just I really don't know what these men are looking for nowadays. I really don't. They claim they want a good woman, but they really don't. They want somebody to take care of them. They want mama to take place of their mamas, or these women who have just spoiled them rotten and allowed them to think a certain way that this is just the norm of what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. And it doesn't happen like that. I'm not one of those. And I just have a certain standard of the type of man that I would want to be involved with. And I just can't seem to find quality men. That's my problem. This is 50 and over. You just can't find any quality men who have substance, who have something to talk about besides, oh, how attractive you are, you're so sexy, you got a nice body. Man, please, that's to me, that's back in your 20s and 30s. I don't need to hear all of that. Help me to go to another level. Let's go grow together. Let's not try to relive what we did in our 20s and 30s. All that stuff.
Clearly, the quantity is not the issue; it's the quality.
Absolutely.
Well, let me try to maybe give you a little bit of clarity on why you're having a tough time finding quality.
Okay.
Well, let me give you a little backstory. A podcast interview I had maybe a month ago, I spoke on how the media has affected the way that women exercise their sexuality. And this started back in the cause of this started back in the early 1930s. With your situation, as far as trying to find a quality man who's 50 and older, you're struggling with men who were born during the hip hop era. The hip hop culture has negatively impacted all urban communities. I'm not saying that hip hop is a bad thing. I'm just saying that it has negatively affected all urban communities in this way. They presented a certain type of male bravado. They presented a way that men are supposed to act in the hip hop industry, or within the hip hop culture, I should say. So the young boys who grew up listening to that music, they were influenced by that persona. Now, even if they didn't grow up within the hip hop culture, they were still listening to the music, or they were still influenced by the music in some other way, whether they were listening to R&B in hip hop, jazz in hip hop, pop music and hip hop. Hip hop has woven itself into different music genres, but the characters that hip hop created, those characters are influencing every male that listens to that type of music. They're growing up thinking, I gotta say, when I meet a woman, I have to talk like, hey girl, you so MF sexy, what how do they say it? I don't know, but they say they don't know how to respectfully approach a woman. They talk to them more like they're teenagers instead of talking to a woman like she's an adult.
Correct.
So that's something that you're struggling with, and I don't know if it's a good suggestion, but I'm going to make it anyway. Maybe you should try, and because I'm making this suggestion because things have shifted, where that old version of the hip hop alpha male is fading out. So I'm going to suggest maybe you should try dating someone younger.
And I'm open to that.
Okay. So you think that
I just haven't met anyone of quality for that age group either. I'm open to 40 and up to maybe 40 up to 60.
40
I'm open.
Okay.
40 to 60.
And you still, I'm sorry, you're still not finding any quality.
That's a pretty good range.
That is a good range.
I think so. And then I start, and of course you go through the whole, well, am I attractive? What's wrong? What am I missing? And then I said, no, Tanya, And I was out with some girlfriends a few nights ago, and they said to me, and I've been told this several times, Tanya, you look like you got money. You look like you're intimidating to a brother. You look like when you step out of your vehicle, they looking at the vehicle, then they looking at you, how your presentation and all of this. I said, that should have no bearing on getting to know the person. You can't just go from the exterior. You got to go beyond that. And I feel like a lot of times men are intimidated, true, by a woman who's aggressive, who has her own opinions about things, she's her own woman. She doesn't need you. She would like to have you in her life, but she don't need you. I mean, and I don't know if I should say that to a man, but I let him know, I don't necessarily need you, but it would be nice to have some companionship, somebody to have dinner with, go out, hang out. And I've been married twice. I don't need to be married again. I have my one son. I got 1.5 grandbabies. I don't need no more children. And I'm past that. I need someone who has children grown and gone and who can have the flexibility to go when we want to go and do when we want to do. And then you don't have these brothers who are financially secure to be able to do that. And that's another problem. It's just like, okay, what's really going on? And Atlanta don't make it no better because you don't know what you're getting right here.
That is true.
That is a wonderful fact about Atlanta.
You don't know what you're getting. That's a wonderful fact.
You gotta be very, very, very careful.
Yes.
It's discouraging even with that fact. What do you do about that?
Well, Tanya, let me ask you. Have you thought about being the lead in the relationship, being the dominant one in the relationship? Because if you are the alpha female, there's a good chance you can meet someone who wants to be with an alpha female. But you would have to take on that role, so that they'll see you as that.
I don't want to.
You don't want to? Okay.
No, I don't want to be the alpha female. I desire to have a brother who's can handle the alpha me, yes, but know how to balance me. Because if I take on the alpha role, I'm gonna take over. And that's what happened with my marriage. I'm gonna take over and I'm gonna just be like, and I'll be like, what do I need you for? I need someone to be able to tell me no, and I can respect them enough to say, okay, let's do it this way. But I don't want you to be controlling.
Mm-hmm.
If you can lead me, I will follow. I don't want to be the one to lead you. I don't want to take leadership of that. I want a man to be a man. Own it. Own me. Own what the personality that I have. Bring to the table what you feel is going to bring some balance to the both of us. And we can kind of work together,
Understood.
So, Anton, do you think that her appearance is giving intimidation to the man, that she is like this super alpha female that she really is not, when she's really saying, I need the balance and I want the balance?
Yes, but some men, they will see you but they will see you as a challenge. So they will try to, step to you and start a conversation with you, not realizing you know who you are as a woman. You know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And because you know those things, it's going to be hard for them to come to you playing games. Mm-hmm. But they're going to try you anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So to avoid those type of men, I wanted to ask you, have you thought about going outside of your culture?
I'm open to that as well. See, that's the thing. I'm open. I just haven't met anyone that I felt that I wanted to give my attention to. And the ones that I've just been meeting as of late, they literally just want to have a playmate. And that's fine, but at least give me some engaging conversation. It stimulate my mind a little bit. Don't just come at me and just boom, bam, let's just do this. We haven't even met. We haven't know if there's any kind of chemistry. We have any physical chemistry. You haven't even stimulated my mind to any degree. So I'm just automatically want to come over to your house and rub your back and take a shower.
Okay, so this stimulates your mind because yes. we had another podcast where, and I'm taking this to the men now because And that's only because we have yet. So if there's any men, dating men that are willing to come on this podcast and give us some more insight, I'm challenging the men to really jump in this podcast at this point, because this is the second conversation that we've had where mental stimulation is super important to a woman. And it's evident. It is evident. Like, it's not just the, yes, we want romance. Yes, we want passion. Yes, we want all of those wonderful, sexy things said to us. But we want to have some real live conversation about some things other than that, right? Like, that's not the 24/7 of our life. Like, we want to be able to know that you know what you're doing when it's time to make the next step when there's a problem, or, you know, that you're ready to help us make some decisions about what's happening in the household and why we're making these decisions and being logical about it. These are things that we want. So, Tanya, because we've had this conversation with someone else, what be more specific when you say stimulate the mind, because that was what the mister wanted to know. What do you mean when you say stimulate the mind?
Okay, I'm going to use the example of a gentleman I have been seeing now for a year. He's 60 years old, but he's got some health challenges and he's lived his life. So he feel like doing anything extra is not on his agenda. He's been able to broaden my horizons and my thinking of certain things, whether it's men-women relationships, how men think versus women, how women think. On a spiritual level, he's helping me to get in line with my spirituality. He's enlightened me to like eating better, doing things differently as it relates to my health, being concerned, genuinely concerned about my family. Let's see, what else? Just knowing, okay, where do you see yourself? Maybe I don't like that whole, where do you see yourself in 5 years and all that kind of crap. Right. But it's like, okay, as we get older, can I count on you to take care of me? Can I depend on you? Can I trust that you're not going to just abandon me if I were to become challenged in my health? I would like to know, and I can trust someone to say, okay, we can talk about those things. We can talk about, okay, baby, if this happens to me or that, what would you do? Or
go ahead.
So it's just a variety of things that I just feel like, okay, we can talk a little bit about politics, but not a lot, or just the things that are going on in society now, some economical things. It just means talk to me about something besides how I look, my physical makeup, all of that. I don't need that. That's what I say about stimulating. It's just I've found that mental stimulation is something I've grown to really enjoy. This gentleman that I've been with now, he has done that because he's not physically attractive. He's not the physical makeup of a man that I really wanted. But I'm drawn to his intellect and I'm appreciate what he's brought to me. And he's allowed me to think differently about men over in general. And I told him he set the bar so high now that I'm looking for that. I'm looking for someone to be sensitive and caring and recognize when I need to sleep instead of you trying to jump my bones. I need to, like just something so simple. When I came back from Arizona, he picked me up. I was at his house. He rubbed my leg. He said, baby, your legs are really dry. I said, that water in Arizona is awful. I didn't say, that's all I said. Next thing I know, he got up. He went and ran a bath for me, put some Epsom salt in there. He says, okay, baby, go get in the bath. That's going to help get you back to where you need to be with the moisture of your skin. Something so simple as that, but he's in tune to the fact, okay, there's a need here. It's my responsibility to fulfill that. And just recognize that that's part of why you're with a person. You need to be in tune to one another to know, okay, this is what they need.
So being able
I don't know if that answered the question or not, but
it did.
It did. So what I'm getting is you want someone who's able to not only stimulate your mind, but also support your growth, your physical growth, right? Mm-hmm. The man you just described, is that the 60-year-old?
Yes.
Oh, yep. So okay, yeah. I see your struggle now. Okay.
Yeah. He's a very mature.
Validated too the idea of one of the things that we try to teach people in relationships is having those uncomfortable conversations and not being afraid of those conversations.
And
not
we have
those conversations to the wayside, like, oh, that's not going to happen to us, or we'll deal with that when that comes. But really having those conversations now instead of waiting until it happens, and then you find yourself in a bad situation and now you're parting ways, unfortunately.
Right.
So this this gentleman that you're the 60-year-old, you said you're not physically attracted to him? Because I'm wondering, as a man, I'm thinking, okay, you say that makeup. I help you. All right, go ahead.
Physical makeup. Your physical makeup is what I like. I like the bald head. I like the dark skin. He's short. He's light skinned. And he's the total opposite.
Not right.
That's what I'm saying. So when I say physical makeup, he's not muscular. He's not tall. Like I said, I can't wear heels with him. He hates it if I have just a little bit of a height on him. So that's what I mean. But he stimulates me mentally, yes. And that's what attracts, because when I first met him, we literally talked on the phone for 4 hours. And I met him on POF. Wow. We talked on the phone for 4 hours. And then we decided, let's meet. We got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, met at a Waffle House. We met and we talked for another hour. And then we went out to the parking lot. He walked me to my car. We kissed, and we were necking like we were teenagers. It was crazy. So the physical chemistry was certainly there, but I enjoy his company. But yet he just doesn't have, like right now, he is on his grind of making money. He has a certain dollar amount that he wants to reach by the end of this year, and he just doesn't have time for me anymore. And he reaches out, like he just called me while I was on here. He reaches out when he can, but he's not as attentive as he was in the beginning, and I can understand. And I try to respect the fact that he's on his grind right now. He's making his money, so am I. But sometimes it's like, okay, can a sister get a minute? Can I just get a couple of days? Something,
So would it be fair to say that, I know it's true for me as a woman, but I don't know about you after 50, that even though men don't have that physical makeup that we're specifically looking for, that if they can just really stimulate our mind and bring that conversation, like, it can sometimes override that. A lot of times, actually, it can override that.
And it really has, because I'm surprised that I'm still in any level of relationship with this man after even this amount of time. It's been a year. And but because I genuinely like him, and he is a man's man. That's the other thing. He's a man's man, but the biggest problem I have with him, he is a control freak. I like to be controlled to some degree, but don't make every decision without at least asking me my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Something so simple as, he'll call me up, I feel like this for dinner. It's not, well, babe, what would you like to have for dinner? Or, we're going to go here. Well, where are we going? Don't worry about it. I got this. Just stuff like that. And it's just like, can I have some say so in some things? But I know what you like. You're going to be pleased with it. True enough. But it's the consideration of my feelings that you can actually acknowledge from time to time. But that's that old school thing in him too.
Have you talked to him about that?
Oh yes, we've had lengthy conversations about it. He's gotten a little better. Like, he has this thing about he disappeared for a good 2 months. He shuts down. He just like, I'm on my thing. He gets in his little mental state, and it's just like, okay, I gotta disconnect. And he would disconnect. I don't hear from him. That's when I said, now, I'm not the type of woman gonna sit around and wait for you to come out of your little whatever it is you go through. I said, at least give me some heads up. Okay, I'm getting ready to shut down for a little bit, Tanya. Right. I'll talk to you soon. But he's gotten better about that. But I got tired of him now. It's like, this has gotten old now. This has gotten old, and I just want something new and different,
I
don't know.
So now, do you think it's time to let him go? Because what it sounds like to me is, and we've talked to other women about this. You have this, we'll just call it what it is. He's baggage. He's good for you, but he's baggage that you no longer need. Because you're carrying this baggage around, Tanya, you're not leaving room for, the one that could be there for you, the one that may be just around the corner or in the next office, next door to you or whatever.
He could be in the office right there.
He could be in the office right now.
Right now.
But we have found that, and men do it also, but women, they tend to carry this baggage around, hoping that, okay, maybe he will turn around or maybe he will change a little bit. But, once a man gets set in his ways, it's hard for him to change.
And I'm not looking for him to change. I'm just looking for a little bit more time. When I'm with him, I enjoy him immensely. We have a great time together. I enjoy him and the type of man that he is. Don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed him. I don't consider him as being baggage so much. It's just that I would like more time, but I know I can't really get that. So, and then too, he's not outgoing. I'm a very outgoing person. I like to go, I like to travel, I like to do different things. Even with this COVID, I've been to Arizona 3 times. I've been out to Virginia once. So I'm not allowing this COVID and this pandemic to stop me from living my life. I take the necessary precautions that I need, but I would like to have someone who's want to say, okay, babe, you're gonna be in Arizona for a month. I'm gonna fly out and spend a weekend with you. Just being spontaneous. I'm very spontaneous, and I would like to have someone who can relate to that. And he can't. He's not going to. He's not sociable with people. So it's a good thing we would have really split up if the pandemic wasn't going on, because he doesn't like to go and socialize with other people.
So he's opposite of you. He's opposite of you in most ways.
Yes. And he knows it. And he's just like, well, babe, he said, you can go. Have a good time. I'll see you when you get back. He supports whatever I want to do.
I definitely feel your pain on that. Like, we do not want someone who, when we're ready to go somewhere and be with them, our partner, like we want to be in their presence. We don't want to just go alone. Right. Or when we want to go with our friends, we want to go with our friends. When we want to go by ourselves, we want to go by ourselves. But when we specifically say we want to go with you, we want to go with you. So I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Right. So it's just been a variety of stuff. Just after a while, I just said, I'm just so over it. I'm just whatever. Just let me focus on me.
Don't be over. Don't be over it. Where did you meet this gentleman?
I met him on Plenty of Fish, the website, the dating site.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did.
Okay.
Well, in Atlanta, what side of Atlanta? Where at?
He's in Decatur, and I'm in Conyers. So we got a great distance. We're about 20 minutes away from one another, so it's easy for that reason. So
Conyers is not a good. I'm a little familiar with Conyers. Conyers is not a good area for meeting people, at least based on what I experienced when I was there. Is that?
It's nothing there.
Right.
It's a nice area to live.
I don't really know what the answer is as it relates to meeting people. I'm out and about all the time. I very, very, very seldom get approached. It's like a man is, I don't know if they're scared to say something to me. I try not to come across as being unapproachable. I've been told maybe sometimes I'm looking a little too intense. I don't know. I just don't know. So whatever advice you guys can give me, I'm open.
Do you try to socialize with men when you're out in public?
You're out. Do you try to do it?
You?
I do.
You say, hi, how are you? Or do you give compliments?
Yes.
If you see an attractive man, you do all of that.
I do. If I see an attractive man, I will say something to him. Yes, I will.
No fear.
Wow.
I'm not scared.
That's interesting, because usually, when a woman gives a man a compliment, if he receives it, he'll try to start a conversation with her. But that's not happening for you.
And I'm gonna tell you the main reason why it's not happening, because I haven't been seeing no real attractive men.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, that's
So,
nice.
Okay.
so that's part of it. I'm just not seeing anyone who I'm just like, I gotta find out who he is. What is his name? I haven't had anyone to just stop me in my tracks and just like, oh, I gotta talk to him. No, no, no. And see, I've only been in Atlanta for a year now. I was come from Chicago. So now mind you, I lived here in 2013. I was here for 2 years. And it was a totally different situation. I had dates after dates after dates. I was having a great time. I really was. I wasn't looking for a relationship, nor am I really looking for a relationship now. I just would like some companionship more so than anything else. And the last time I was here, man, I had a great time. This time, I don't know. I don't know what's happened.
So you lived here in 2013?
I lived here in 2013 for 2 years, and then some things were happening with my son's career, so I went back to Chicago. I was back in Chicago for another 3 years, and then I just recently came back here. Yeah.
So what was different? And I was trying to think of what was happening in 2013 versus now. So based on your experiences, what was different among the type of men that you
I
were?
don't know. I don't know. I can't. That's the thing. I'm just really still trying to figure that thing out myself. I've even been asking myself, what's different now than then? I don't
Do you
know.
think your level of what you're looking for in a companion is different? Like, I know you said that in both times you're not looking for a full-blown relationship or a marriage. Did you have a different perspective on what a companionship should look like
Back in 2013.
versus now?
I guess then I was really just trying to just reconnect with Tanya. And it was all about just having fun. I didn't care where anything led. And now I guess I'm looking for something maybe. And that's the thing, I don't feel like I'm really looking for it. If it comes to me, great. If it doesn't, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I could take it or leave it,
But
So,
that could,
yeah.
I was going
Come
to
from
say,
a
that could be
frustration.
what the problem you're struggling with.
What it
is-
seems like is that,
Go
and
ahead.
you correct me if you think I'm wrong, but what it seems like is in 2013, like you said, you were trying to reconnect with Tanya. And in essence, you were saying, I'm not looking for a relationship hands down. Whereas right now, it's more, I'm not looking for a relationship. If it happens, that's great. So if I meet someone, I want to meet someone who has that potential, which is putting you in a different realm of the dating phase than it would have in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Your mindset is totally different when you're saying, hey, I'm just out here being Tanya. I'm gonna do what I want to do for fun and live my life. Versus now you're saying, I would love to meet a guy that can spend some time with me and we kind of grow together, but I'm not really looking for marriage. Your mindset is different. The way you think about dating has shifted.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Because I don't look at things the same as now as I did then. You're right. Even as it relates to just having one night stands, I'm over that too. It's
So
like,
which
So
lifestyle would you rather live?
Yeah, when you say companionship but not looking for a relationship, it could be where you still want to have just that one person. You just don't care if it goes into a full-blown marriage. Whereas then companionship could have been, I can be with 2-3 people and be happy with it. I'm okay. It's cool, no problem, because I'm good with that. And back then, the level of mind stimulation was probably a lot lower and less expected than what it is now as you've grown.
Yeah, and I didn't realize I really needed that or even was attracted to that part until I met this gentleman. His name is DJ. I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed that and enjoyed the type of man that he is. So yeah, it's different for me now. You're right, it is different, and yeah.
So which one do you want?
Yeah, which one of those lifestyles do you want?
I want the one where I can have my companion and we can kick it. We have fun. You're over here. I'm over here. We get together. We have a good time, and then we go our separate ways.
So you
And
just
I'm good
want
with that. Huh?
one?
Yeah,
One?
just one. Yeah, just one. Just
What
one
if
guy.
you had more than one?
But they gotta be able to balance all of that together. They gotta bring it all together. If they can
Okay.
bring it all together.
Now,
Now, if I had one and I could just have sex with, and then one who's my companion and I can go and kick it and we go out and do things together, I'm good.
Okay.
okay. All right.
All
Now,
right.
I totally,
like that.
we totally understand what you're saying. And I
There's
can tell.
nothing wrong with that
Right.
if that's what you want.
If that's what you want. And I can tell that, well, let me say, it appears as though that would make you happier
Mm-hmm.
because the smile that was on your face just now when you described that scenario, we haven't seen that since you've been in front of the camera. So this is what I want to suggest to you. And, you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't dismiss it when I say it, okay? Just think about it for a moment before you reply, all right?
Mm.
No, let me not ask it that way. How do you feel about the idea of being in a polyamorous relationship? Or do you know what a polyamorous relationship is?
In that having multiple partners and there's no emotional connection?
Correct. That's exactly what it is. It's not emotionless. Y'all care about each other, but it's multiple lovers and everybody's aware of one another, but there's no commitment.
No, I don't like that idea only because I've been the other woman for being involved with married men, and I didn't like that part. I didn't like I knew I was the other woman. I understood that, but after a while, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to continue to know that I have to share you. And if I want you all to myself at this point. I don't want to have to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other side to that could be where you choose the guys that you want to date and you tell them about each other so that they'll know that the other one exists. That's a polyamorous relationship.
Okay.
And everyone is aware of what's happening in that. And the thing is, and this is something that we really, I think the time has come that we need to bring on and bring some more experts to the table for the polyamorous culture, because a lot of people have a misconception about it and don't know about it. We are in no way experts about it at all. So, and I know that some of our audience has been questioning it, or let's just say curious. They don't know, they're just curious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And want to know. So we're going to do our best to get some people on here to try to help explain that. But I know that from conversating with some of these individuals, that it is everyone is mutually understanding of what's going on in the relationship. So it's not, you may feel that you are the other person, but probably not so much, because you probably know, and I'm just speculating, that the other person knows that you actually exist and it's not something that's being held behind the scenes. So if you say, I want to have this person over here that I just have sex with, and I want to have this person over here that when I just want to talk and go out and hang out with, yeah, we're cool, and then I want to go have sex with this person. Okay, but they know about each other, so that's cool. They know their role. I don't know. You said that is considered polyamory.
That is polyamory, because everything's consensual. One knows what's going on. Everybody, like Star said, everyone is playing their role in this relationship. To me, based on what I've heard you saying, that sounds like what you want. But for some reason, you're uncomfortable with the idea of it. So I wanted to ask you, are you uncomfortable with the idea of it because you said you were once the other woman in a triangle relationship, and you didn't like that experience?
I believe that has a lot to do with it.
Okay, but in a polyamorous relationship, Tanya, you would be the one in control of it. You're setting the standard. I mean, you're setting the rules, all the guidelines. You're letting these guys know, hey, you're number one, you're number two. When I want to see number one, I will see number one. Number two, you cannot come around when I'm with number one. And the same thing applies to you, number one. When I'm with number two, you can't come around.
But there has to be, but even though, and this is just, again, have no clue, but I would think, because one of the issues is that women are not the only ones who get emotionally attached. So are they familiar with what polyamory is and understand about that emotional attachment? Because it can also be dangerous if everybody really doesn't understand what's really happening, right? Because she can say, look, I got A over here, B, you can't come over when A is here, but B is over here catching feelings, especially if they're not sexually active, right? B is over here catching these feelings over here. So then B want to all of a sudden pop up and act crazy when A is around. So now you put yourself in a dangerous situation. So that's something that it's something to consider, but it's also so many different lines there that you have to be aware of. And I think that's where we need to bring the experts in who are a part of this lifestyle, who can really give some full on insight into that lifestyle for people to make those decisions, because it might sound good, right? But then the other question would be, what's holding us back? Is it our culture? Is it our personal culture, the way that we were raised? That has probably 95% to do with it. You know, and what other people are going to think, what are other people going to say? But I think that aspect of how dangerous could it be if everyone doesn't really understand the dynamic of how this operates. Like, I think that's one of those lifestyles you got to do some research.
Yeah.
So maybe you should do some research on it.
I will
do it, because it may be that the polyamorous lifestyle works for you. It may be the thing that you've been looking for, but you haven't given it a chance because it wasn't introduced to you at a time when you were open to it.
That's true.
I will. I'm sure just like any other relationship or any other lifestyle, there are so many misconceptions that people have on the outside who don't know about it. Like, we can say what we feel we know about the polyamorous relationships, but those are only things that we've heard or maybe read about. We don't know, and no one knows until you've encountered it firsthand, or you can actually get some information from those individuals in those lifestyles to be able to say, okay, I get it now, right? Because they can say the same thing about us. They can feel like, you know what, I was never heterosexual, right? I was never that. And so these are the misconceptions that I have about that. But then once they get to know you as having this relationship, male, female, now they're not looking at it the way that they were looking at it before, because now they've gotten to know you, they've gotten to know the relationship lifestyle, and they've gotten to know more about it by interacting with those individuals and really understanding it, besides looking at because a lot of people shed negative light on different types of relationships because that's not their lifestyle. And that's just the true bottom line. You know, we can't say that it's right or wrong. We can't. The only people that would say right or wrong is if they're looking at it from a religious aspect, right? That's it. Religious aspects will be the only thing that's going to say right or wrong, but you can't say that it's right or wrong for anybody because you don't know what it is.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. But after it's all said and done, guys, how do I'm not meeting anyone to even be considering the polyamorous relationship.
Well, I was going to lead into that. You, of course, do your research first, but
I will.
There is a huge community of polyamorous people.
Okay.
So after you've done your research, you'll be able to go online and find these people just by searching polyamory or polyamorous couples or polyamorous people. They're out there.
Yeah, and I think also, again, going back to who you were in 2013 and where you are now in 2021, and really taking some time now to evaluate those differences, because, you know, on one hand, you're saying, I want this person that I can just have sex with, and then I want this person that I can just conversate with. But then on the other hand, you're saying, but I don't want to feel like that second person. But then on the other hand, you're saying, I don't care if it leads to marriage or whatever it leads to, I just want this. So I think really being able to break that down and being really, 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 really detailed about how that looked in 2013 versus now is going to help you. And that's going to take some quiet space for you to do that.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that.
And I think that's going to help you decide while you're doing the research on polyamory, you're going to be able to decide, okay, this is not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could say, yeah, I'm cool with this polyamorous relationship. Or you may say, no, I'm not cool with that, but I just want somebody where it's just going to be me and that person and we ain't trying to get married, period. But we know we're together. It's just us. That's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't, like I said, that would be great too. I would just like that one guy, but the problem is meeting him. Where to meet him. The whole online thing has just gotten really old. I just can't do it anymore.
Well, let me give you some suggestions on where to meet me. And you probably tried this, but you wasn't conscious. I mean, you probably done this, maybe met a guy in this place that I'm about to mention, but you wasn't conscious of, you know, it was actually happening in this place. A grocery store. A grocery store, yes. I know I didn't get a big reaction from you, but a lot of women don't know that quality men grocery shop. They go out and do their own grocery shopping because they are
very good point.
they are the type of man who's disciplined enough to know, okay, I need to go buy me some food. I need to go get these items, this, that, and the other. And the only way that it's going to happen is if I go do it.
Okay, here's the big question.
Okay.
How do you know if they're straight or bi?
You won't know unless you approach them.
So what?
You won't know unless you approach them, because well-groomed men can be found in the gay community and in the straight community. So you won't know unless you approach them.
And how do you approach it?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I've approached the question to some good-looking men, and you have to wonder if they're really being honest about it, you know? Are they really being honest about their sexuality?
That's true. You do have to wonder. Well, one way you can, and this doesn't always work, but it can give you an idea of what you're dealing with. You can give him a compliment. The way that he responds to that compliment will give you an idea of whether or not he's straight or gay.
Okay.
Because a straight man is going to react different to a compliment versus the way a gay man will.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so well, with a straight man, he'll hear your compliment. If he likes it, he'll receive it. But he's not going to go into great detail on what you complimented him about. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay. I'll follow you.
Because and the reason for that is because straight men don't usually get compliments from women. They're usually the ones giving the compliments.
That is true. Okay. I like that.
I'm learning something today, Tanya. Not that I'm in the market, but I'm learning something today.
Okay, yes. So grocery stores. Where else?
Yes, grocery stores. So you go to the grocery store that you would shop at, right? Mm-hmm. And just go in there and just kind of walk around and see.
And you know the most disappointing and the most disappointing, disheartening thing about right now and the time that we're living in, these masks. So you can't even see the person. You know, you can't see their features. You just, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's like, we've gotten so now.
No, it's not that.
That is a problem. I will agree.
Okay, it is as far as the physical attraction. Mm-hmm. But what's more important to you, Tanya? Is it the physical connection or the sexual connection? And I'm asking this.
Fair.
No. I'm asking this because, as you know, I'm a relationship. I'm an intimacy advisor. So I have to take you there. All right. And this is important because sex plays an important part in people's relationships.
It does.
We know this. So
It does.
when we learn to recognize what turns us on sexually, we can use that as a guide to find someone who may be sexually interested in us. For example, you're in the grocery store, you're walking around, you have your shopping cart, you see this guy, he has on the, the mask and everything. You look at him, he looks at you. You feel that little warm sensation that goes through your body when you're physically attracted to somebody. You can act on that by going over to talk to him. If he has that same attraction for you, do you remember the chemistry you had with the 60-year-old when y'all first met? The conversation went on for a while. It will happen that way, but at some point, you're going to have to say something sexual so that he'll know that you find him to be sexy. If he is sexually attracted to you, he will comment on what you said, and that exchange will help the two of you to find out if there's a sexual attraction. Because if he's not sexually attracted to you, he'll hear you say, wow, you have some, for example, you have some sexy looking eyes, because that's all you can see because of the mask. You have sexy looking eyes. If he's sexually attracted to you, he'll come back with something that supports what you just said about him in a sexual way, I mean.
Right.
If that happens, then you can proceed to talk to him, because now you know he's on your level when it comes to the sexual attraction.
Okay.
At that point, you got to start doing your work and see if this man is worth your time.
Right.
Because now you know both of you find each other sexually attractive.
Yeah.
But from that point, you then have to start doing your work because you initiated this.
Right. That is true. That is true. Okay, where else?
So don't let the mask get in the way of you meeting someone. You can meet someone. You would just have to let your sexual desires start working for you.
Well, hold on now.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So when you see that man, you're like, ooh.
While we can understand exactly what you're saying,
okay,
it is real. I don't know about men, but it is very real that if I can't see your face, and I'm not sure about that mental stimulation, just because there might be a slight sexual attraction there, once I see your face and we haven't had a real conversation, it might just go straight downhill. It's hard to not put that block up once you physically see the person's face and find out if there's a physical attraction there. That's the problem. Because that initial meet, there may be a little bit of sexual stimulation there. I mean, most people meet, they flirt, and you're like, damn, okay, yeah, we could do that, right? That's the initial meet. Like, you have a physical attraction to that person. You're feeling them sexually. I'm gonna say 99.9% of the time, right? Male and female, what doesn't matter. When you're flirting, you're feeling that person sexually. I'm just saying. So when you're saying you can't physically see that person, even if they're saying something to you and it sounds sexual, that's great. But once I see you physically, it could turn that off if we haven't had any real conversation to follow that. Because again, it goes back to just the sexual side and not the mental stimulation to help with that whole arousal to keep it going.
You're right. It can go downhill from there after you've seen them physically. But if you've done your preparation, it won't be difficult for you to cut that connection off. It won't, because you will know that this is what I'm looking for.
So
once you finally see him without the mask and you see, oh my goodness, this is not what I thought it was. You can then say, well, buddy, this this isn't going to work.
So, okay, so is it fair to just have Tanya to basically just be a little bit more open-minded until it gets to that point? Because we're in this, especially in this pandemic, because we're in this position right now, that's pretty much the best option that we're going to have available as we're meeting people outside of the home. Is that pretty much what you're getting at, being just keeping your mind open?
Yes, be more open-minded.
Tanya, I agree. It's hard, but I agree.
Be more open-minded.
Okay, so where else can you meet some quality men besides grocery store? Where else you suggest?
She going. she about to go.
I'm a cook, so I
You're
go
a cook? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so listen. Because you're a cook, you would have more chances of success in a grocery store than you would anywhere else. Because the only thing you have to do, Tanya, is this is just an idea. You can try it. Put a few items in your grocery cart and walk around until you see this attractive man. and use those items in your cart as conversation starters.
That is true.
So no matter if you meet a guy and he's able to talk to you about what you have in your cart, because you're a cook, it doesn't matter what y'all are talking about, y'all will be able to talk about something that will help you to get to know him a little bit better before he takes the mask off. But Tanya, I would hope that shortly after meeting him, even though you're out in public, you would ask him to take the mask off. He doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to say anything, but I need you to take that mask off because, I want to see what I'm dealing with here.
I have no problem. I'm not scared at all. I would say, sweetheart, I really need you to pull that just so we can see one another,
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Do you agree? Do I agree? Okay, we can continue from here.
Right.
We can do 6 feet from each other, but let me see what you're working with. You might have some soup coolers and a big old nose, and I'm like, oh, heck,
Right.
Okay, you said grocery store, and where else?
Okay, so grocery stores and oh wow, you're actually in a good place right now.
Car dealership.
Yes.
Going out there and start fishing, Tanya.
Yes, you're in a good place right now.
My advisor is a female.
Car dealerships and networking events, because those are two things, cars and money, that men love to talk about.
True.
So
that is
you place yourselves in those type of environments, and you'll increase your chances of meeting someone.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna take that advice. I am.
Are you gonna do the research on the polyamory?
I am, but you're gonna think it's funny. I'm supposed to be getting ready to go out on a date with a guy.
You might want to give her some information before she hits that date, because right now she's probably mentally like,
I've met him. I've met him. I've met him. As a matter of fact, he's texting me now. I've met him. We great chemistry. We've had some great sex, and I left to go to Arizona, so now I'm back. So now we reconnected. I called him last night because I started not to even call. I was like, call Tanya. Stop being, because I'm notorious for if I meet you and you rub me the wrong way, I'm gonna delete your number. I'm done. That's it. But I kept his number because he's a lot of fun, great energy over the phone, great sense of humor. Sex was pretty good. He has a gorgeous home. He's very clean. See, all those little things have a lot to do with it too. Your physical makeup, how you keep your house, because I'm a clean fanatic. So all those things, and like I said, he's a good-looking guy. So we're gonna see what happens with him.
Okay, but in the meantime, just have some fun.
In between time, I'm gonna look into the polyamorous.
Yeah, look into that.
Look into it, have fun.
I would suggest you try and get back to that 2013 mindset. Only because right now you're not looking for marriage, and Right. So you don't want that to get in the way of you meeting someone.
I think
So go back to that 2013 mindset of where you're just out having fun.
until you gathered your research on being 125%, 200% sure as to what you're looking for out of these relationships as the final outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's guys out there. They're out there. You just got to place yourself in their vicinity. And let the magnetism between the two of you work.
Yeah. I agree. So we're gonna see. I will take all of your advice. This is the first time I've ever talked to any professionals, if you will, about relationships and intimacy and men, women. This has been great. I've enjoyed this.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun.
All right, we're glad you enjoyed it. So is there anything that you want to share with our audience before you go?
That I haven't already shared.
Do you have any insight, anything that you picked up from being here, or anything that we'll say words of wisdom just for lack of, that you want to share with the audience?
I would just say just to be open to the possibilities of something different. Just know that there's always something different that can bring just as much enjoyment to you as something you've had in the past.
All right.
That's good stuff.
That's sound wisdom. Be open to the possibilities.
Yep.
I like that.
So that's what I'm gonna take away from this. And yeah, because I could go on and on about some other stuff, but I was like, no, you guys we'll be on the phone for another 3 hours.
It's okay. We can have you back for a part 2.
Yes.
So don't worry. We got more seasons to come.
Okay, sounds good. This was fun. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll have you back so you can tell us about some of those possibilities you came across after this podcast.
Okay.
All right.
So as we wrap this up, if you would just tell our viewers where they can find you, especially if there's someone specific watching or listening to this and saying, ooh, I might want to get to know her. Where can they find you, Tanya?
You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. That's Tonjua Jackson. That's Tonjua. I have a very unusual spelling of my first name. So yeah, Instagram and Facebook.
All right, and just so our men and women know, where can they find your Pure Romance site?
That's Pure.
Can you give us, before you give us that, can you give us like a sentence or two about what Pure Romance is, so they'll know, for the men and the women?
I have found Pure Romance to be a relationship enhancement products that will bring some excitement to your bedroom, as well as bringing some good health to your bodies, and great products to make you smell good and feel good every day.
Awesome. And what's your website?
My website is www.pureromance.com/Tonjua Jackson.
And that's Tonjua Jackson. All right.
Jackson.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in this Love, Marriage, Fantasy podcast episode. Thanks again, Tanya, for joining us. It was a pleasure.
It was fun.
Y'all have a good night.
Have a good one. Bye.